So, did he end up getting everything shoveled? The day went well?
Yes, it was really nice. I I was not at all expecting this phone call. So our number, well, my number was on Neighborhood a year ago
Yeah.
uh, for snow removal. And she was like, I'm looking for Logan, who is 12. I was like, what are you talking about? She's like,
Okay.
for snow removal, I was told I had to speak with Logan's mom. I was like, oh, yes, absolutely. This is Logan's mom. And like quickly switched into like, we do this professionally on the side. I
This is
totally
she.
forgot about this from last year.
Aw, that's so cool that he did that, though. Good
Yeah,
guy.
it was nice.
Yeah, yeah. Gosh, I remember those days. I'm still the designated snow person, so I just don't get paid anymore. But I remember getting paid when I was younger, and that was fun.
Yeah, I used to like be the big snow person, and now I get to just like sit inside and knit or read, or usually that's all now I just do the dishes or take
Score.
telehealth calls.
The life. Oh, that's awesome. All right, we'll go ahead and get into this. I'll pop this screen down. All right, hello everybody. My name is Alexis with Mastermind Adventures. Mastermind Adventures is a creative team of professionals who are conquering isolation and loneliness through play. One of our initiatives is the Game Master for Hire program, GM for Hire for short. These awesome folks are storytellers, actors, and other performers who can bring the world of storytelling and role playing to life for you and your friends, no matter your experience level. And today we are talking to Miss Amanda Morin. How are you doing, Amanda?
I'm well. How are you?
I am doing great. Better now that I get to watch you knit again. It's been too long. I feel so calm. So, do you want to tell everyone about your backstory, your origin story, Amanda?
Sure. So, I came to Masterminds a little bit differently than a lot of the GMs for hire. Back when Masterminds had a physical location, I got to walk in the door and just start talking to the Kalinas. It was Jason who was there, and I just kind of fell in love with the entire place and had a lot of similar interests, and basically said, my family and your family are going to be great friends, and your business needs me.
And that's all she wrote. Yeah.
The day I met him.
Oh, that's so cool. So you were just from around the area. I didn't know that about you. You just walked in one day?
Yeah, I had heard about Masterminds through a friend of mine because they kept talking to us about Camp Half Blood. And I basically walked in once I had moved to Warren and like just very brashly made this joke that was like, hey, you guys are like into D&D and board games and Harry Potter and all of this stuff, and if my family doesn't know you guys, you need better marketing.
Yeah. Something is wrong
Because
here.
this is all we do in life. And we just got to talking. And after I made my uh, over the top brash statement, Jason was like, oh, I don't want to, pry. But we also have a lot of families here who have kids of like varying needs. And Killian was bounding around on all fours, acting like a dinosaur. And Logan had his noise canceling headphones on and was like, this.
My oh, I remember.
And I was like, oh, if you mean what I think you mean, then yes, we also belong here for those reasons.
Just everything aligns. Everything has come together so perfectly.
Yep. So then we found out about Quest and we started going to Masterminds to like hang out and play games as a family, and the kids did Nerf. But the first formal Masterminds program that the kids did was a therapeutic adventure game.
Do you remember that game in particular, what they played and how they did?
Um, no, because it was the first time that I really tried not not to watch too much or to get too involved. So when Logan was playing Quest, I stayed way at the front of the store and would just knit or hang out, and let Logan play or entertain Killian, because at the time Killian was too young to be involved in that particular game of Quest.
Yeah.
But I really trusted the group of people and felt like it was just my time to step out. And Logan hadn't done extremely well with other social skills groups. And there was just something about learning skills through role playing that felt like it was going to click. But um, Logan has always looked to me for a lot of cues. And so even when he was at occupational therapy, he'd like sit there and, stare at me like for what to do next. So when Logan was at Quest, I was like, goodbye.
See
I'll
you.
see ya.
It was also kind of such a great environment for that because you could be so comfortable. Like it was almost comfort within the chaos because they were always just making so much noise and doing their thing and going great. But then everyone from the nerf area to the front of the store was just like knitting and chilling and reading and very peaceful. So you're kind of like, so this is okay. This is good, and we're all gonna do this together while they just rock
Yeah,
out back there.
that's true. And
Yeah.
everyone got to know each other's like kids' loud noises. We're like, wait, no, it's cool. That was Aubrey.
Yeah,
We're
nothing's
like,
broken. That wasn't a blood curdling scream.
yeah.
One of my actually, I have a favorite memory of Kristen, and it was one of the first days ever in the store, and I remember just the kids being so chaotic, and like a couple came in that didn't know what they were getting into, and then they were like, okay, like this is a lot, and they backed out, and I was like, hey Kristen, does it ever bother you? Like, do you ever get frustrated or have to block out the noise? And she was just doing her thing, and she stopped everything, looked up, and was like, no, I love it, I live for it. She was like, and it was so pure and so true, and I was like, all right, I can stay here, this is great.
Yeah.
Oh, so fun.
One
There's
of
so many
my
memories.
favorite
Huh?
like in-store memories was when I was teaching science in the store,
Yeah.
and we were doing like a hiking club and a science class later in the day. And the
Mm.
kids were always like, what did you bring today? What did you bring today? And I was like, a coyote carcass. And they were like, are you serious? I was like,
Yes.
yeah, of course I'm serious. And so I had all the like cleaning materials and everything we needed. And then the kids divided into, yeah, we want to watch this, and no, we don't want to participate in this.
It's so funny how you can see their little personalities so developed. Like they're just like little adults in these tiny bodies, and they're so they're so expressive. I remember when you brought in the worms. That was probably the funnest day I remember in science.
Oh, I
That was
liked
fun.
that. That was fun.
The worms and then the I had the word 2 seconds ago and they escape my brain sometimes. They run away. But the pellets,
Oh,
owl.
the owl pellets?
Those were so cool.
That's always fun.
Yeah, so do you want to talk a little bit more about the classes that you used to do? I don't know if you're still running anything like that virtually, but just I thought that
Yeah.
was so cool.
So some of them have been converted to library programs, and a lot of them have changed a little bit. Like there's an Animal Crossing club and a Pokemon science club, and that takes like everyday science and nature skills and turns them into play based. So Animal Crossing, everyone who plays is very familiar with this like seasonal or monthly shift that happens in the game. And I try to draw that into real life. So kids and teenagers who are playing Animal Crossing get to learn more about what's native to their area based on what they're finding in the game and facts about that. We've done a Harry Potter potions class that was based on what may have actually gone wrong if you went to the Forbidden Forest.
Ooh.
And that was fun. I worked on a library program for that. The most popular program right now that I'm running is a Pokemon Science, and I'd done an entire camp about it, but now I do a lot of library programs, and that's explaining how Pokemon are like fossil type, plant type, water type, etc. But they all work within their own rules, and the attacks are based on those also. So we learn more about the real life inspiration for those Pokemon, but then extrapolate the rules so kids can create their own Pokemon. But I have a lot of weird stuff in my house too. So it's a little bit of like a museum style show and tell where I'm like, well, we're going to do this plant Pokemon. And then I bring out a bunch of weird plants. Or we talk about like Kabuto, and then I bring out horseshoe crabs and ammonites for omanites, and that's a really fun class, and one of the programs that I love to teach. And we just pitched a whole bunch of programs today for some camps, and a lot of those will be coming up on the website shortly. Many of them I won't be teaching, but I'm helping to coordinate and present. I don't want to get too in depth with them because I feel like those teachers will probably be talking to you shortly, but I'm extremely excited about them.
I'm so excited too. Do you I actually want to get into, what you'll be offering and what you're planning to teach, but before that I'm just curious because first of all, you're like everything I want to be when I grow up. I want to have all these crazy cool things and just be surrounded by plants. And this isn't even it. There's more. There's more plants. I've seen it. What got you into your love of nature? Because as long as I've known you, that's something that you've always had, and I guess I've never known your backstory about it.
Oh, that's a really good question. With maybe a strange answer, because I feel like I should say my parents brought me to sleepaway camp, and all I did was read about Jane Goodall. But that's a total lie. I grew up in a pretty poor suburb of Providence, and my parents were not outdoorsy people, and I had a Sega Genesis that I played a ton. So I love video games, and I liked the idea of going outside, but I guess I didn't love bugs or getting too hot or doing all of these different things.
I can't imagine that.
I can't either.
Nah.
It's like, when you look back on versions of yourself, you kind of feel like you forgot.
Yeah.
But I loved animals, and I loved like learning facts about animals and getting those like zoo book okay, you're too young for this,
I'm
but
nodding like I know, but I don't know.
you used to
Tell
be
me.
able to get these like fact cards mailed to you through a subscription service as a
Awesome.
child. And I would get these, and I loved office supplies, right? So I'd get like a binder, and I would just file them away, and people would talk to me, and I would not like them, but I would tell them animal facts.
Some
And
common
then
ground with everyone.
And then somewhere along the line, that turned into figuring out that being outside wasn't terrible. And then I wanted to train myself to get better at being outside.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was 12, I got to go to camp for the first time that wasn't incredibly supervised. So we could choose our own like areas that we wanted to go to all the time. And one of them was nature, and it was a pond, just like a
All
pond.
you need. All you need with your kid. Maybe some nets.
and nobody else liked to go to the pond.
Wow,
And
really?
so the pond was like the quietest spot to be. Well, they had horseback riding and archery and a pool and like,
I
you
feel like
know,
everyone loved nature when it was.
exciting
We're like, we just
things.
wanted to splash around and get dirty.
Well, you couldn't swim in the pond. It was like a Rehoboth
No,
pond,
we
you
couldn't
know?
either. It was gross, but I mean,
Oh,
we
okay.
definitely got like knee level high sometimes when no one was
Yeah.
looking.
So I hung out at the pond a lot because it was quiet and I'd like read books and hang out with frogs. And then as other kids would come and try and catch frogs, they would scare all the frogs, and then the frogs would come to me. So I got really good at catching frogs and turtles and all these things because I was off by myself.
I just picture you like
So
peacefully meditating and like frogs swarming to you, like the frog queen, just all of them like waiting for your order.
yeah. So this summer, when I was 12, I guess I really learned to love nature, but then I kind of trained myself truly to just get better at being outside. And since then, I've always done the whole, well, if I don't like something and it's good for me, I might as well try and get better at it thing. So, um, and then when I was 20, my brother and I climbed a mountain together for the first time as an adult. So I'd been like dragged up mountains and church youth groups and stuff as a teenager and like grudged the whole experience until I got to the top.
Yeah.
Um, but that time when I was 20 was the first time I really got the bug. And after that, I was like, well, if I can do this mountain, I can do bigger mountains. And if I can go climb mountains, I can go backpacking.
And now you've done it all. You've done all those things. So and you've done it in such a cool way. Like your backpacking excursions and all the hikes you go on. I think that is just so cool. You're such a conqueror. Um,
Hopefully, I'm not a
yeah,
conqueror. I
yeah.
just
I guess not.
like,
In a positive light. What's a good synonym for
I am a stubborn individual who refuses to let their own limitations uh, stop them from doing things they want to do. How
ever?
about that?
Yeah, that's great. That's so you. It's so true. Oh, I love it. Do you want to? Oh, that's so cool. I got to know a little bit of your backstory with that too, because I just knew I knew there had to be something. I'm like, you don't just get like this. I feel like you're a very peaceful person, and peaceful people are drawn to nature. You know, because it's one of the only quiet places. But I figured there had to be some type of like entry love fulfillment moment there.
Yeah, it still probably would have sounded better if I was like, well, my parents were naturalists and
No, I like we can do the fake story though if you want to. We can just like blip over it, get creative. And then I came and I was in the African safari and I decided.
I had very bougie parents. No, I don't think I had my first pair of like moisture wicking hiking pants until 4 years ago.
Oh.
Even still, my hiking boots are half a size too big and they came from my friend's son's hand me downs.
It's honestly better to have big ones because you need giant socks to go inside. You need like 7 pairs of socks for the excursions you're going on to stay warm. Survival of the fittest. What's been your longest hike?
Um, well, would it for days in a row or like mileage
Days in a row.
or
Because I'm
elevation?
not gonna
Days
keep
in a row?
you.
Probably nothing crazy. I think I've done um, a 7 day backpacking trip.
Okay. Where did you go?
So um, it was Vermont, Long Trail in Vermont.
This wasn't that long ago, right?
Correct. And then I've done I've done a 19 miles in a day with a
What?
friend that was just super fun because we just kept going up and down the same mountain.
Oh, well, there you go. At least you knew like where you were. That's crazy. How many times did you do it?
5.
That's awesome.
We wanted the mental challenge of like,
We can keep
you know,
going. There's
like
always more.
you can't say enough. You just gotta do it again.
And again. And again. Oh,
Are you
so
tired? Yes. Do it again.
more. That's so you. That's so funny. And your friend is a really good sport though for doing that with you, or is she the cattle? Is she the one who's making you go?
Um, she was training for a race. I was training for a race. We're both doing crazy stuff.
Going for it. So cool. Okay, we'll transition back to classes and things that you're going to be
Yeah.
offering. Do you want to share what you're going to be offering at Mastermind?
There will be monthly both Pokemon and Animal Crossing clubs starting right after the holidays. Um, and we're hoping to run those on Saturdays to just kind of give kids and families a really inexpensive thing to do on the afternoons.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Great idea.
very, very soon after that, I will be hosting a Druid craft
Oh,
class. Yeah.
me
So
more.
that will be getting kids outside and creating their own like spell books of uh, plants and things they find outside and how to make um, like different tinctures and recipes, what's edible, what's not edible. We will not be including mushrooms, even if they're really easy to identify,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want that responsibility with children.
No.
Um, um, but in that, they'll have both like a spell book and a scrapbook that they're creating, right? So that will change as the seasons change and different things become available, but also learning how to like respect public land, how to take care of what they find, what an honorable harvest is, how to not take too much,
Mm.
um, how to, build pollinator gardens without buying anything. So, um, maybe transplanting things from the side of the road, etc. Creating seed bombs. We're just gonna have our own little like plant peaceful army.
I love that. That's a good way to phrase it too, a little plant army. I love the idea too of having the kids kind of create their own spells and recipe. Have you done that before with kids?
I have, but we've done it in more like strict wizarding world kind of thing. Um, and this, I really want kids from all over to be able to participate. And that's why they'll be helping to create their own spells. So having enough time in each class to work as a group, but also to work with me to identify things that they're maybe finding throughout the week and then coming to me with those photos as reference.
Yeah.
Um, so if someone lives in a city, there's still plenty of edible and medicinal plants to be found that are city weeds. um, so no one will be excluded based on like the range of where they live. So that program was designed as comprehensively as possible to not exclude kids who don't have access to a vehicle or the
Mm.
suburbs, or rural environments also.
That's so cool. It's very thoughtful, and I think that'll make it just so the kids are able to make more connections outside of obviously their hometown, and it's a great thing to have right now. It's like there's something about nature that makes you just feel like you can go deeper and deeper and deeper into it, and there's magic all around you. You just have to stop and discover. Like I always notice, I'll just be driving and looking at trees, and they'll be looking like they're dancing. Or if you just stop and take in, even on a walk, you just look around, you realize how many different types of living things are around you. It's really cool. Love that. Do you have anything else that you are doing right now? Twitch streams or just any awesome projects you want to share with us?
Um, I definitely don't have a Twitch stream.
Not that one. It's okay. We have several others. We have lots of people who do Twitch.
I mean, I will, I should. I know it's a thing I have to do.
You're
videos.
projects. I'm sure you're doing so many things.
I have a lot of projects. Right now, my family's doing a zoo project in addition to everything else.
What?
So,
Wait. What? How?
oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
we
So,
can't go pass over that.
yeah. So, we're working with the Roger Williams Park Zoo as Earth agents to be ambassadors to like teach about like single-use plastics and a little bit more about helping our environment. And we had to do a service project. And instead of doing one single service project, we've created a social media campaign to teach people about this 1 square mile that we live in and all of the different amphibians, birds, and plants that we've found here, and talking about like what's invasive, what can or should be removed, um, what kinds of salamanders are here, how to handle a salamander, if you should handle a salamander, sharing our photography, but also amplifying the voices of like queer, Black, and Indigenous scientists, doing that through the help of the zoo. So
So
I don't know.
awesome.
It's not with masterminds, but
No, it's still
a lot
cool
of work.
to know all about you, and that I feel like it's all you, like what you soak in, and it makes you a more dynamic teacher, you know? That's so cool. Wait, you can't pick up some salamanders? What's that?
Well, I mean, you can, but everyone's like washing their hands nonstop with this antibacterial, high alcohol content stuff, and they absorb through their skin. And so if you're picking up a salamander because you're like, I haven't seen one of these in 5 years because they're so rare these days, and then you know industrial sanitize the poor thing,
Oh,
it's
that's good
not
to
so
know. Oh, see, that's one of my
yeah.
favorite activities to do with kids is chasing the salamanders, but now it's probably just too terrible. Now it's only worth
Make your
torture.
hands dirty first.
Yeah, that I can
This is
definitely do.
this is
Just
what
like
I do. I like rub them in the dirt a little bit and then get some pond water on them. So if I want to handle them, I'm like microbial according to their habitat.
you
And then
cleanse
I
the earth. I love
antibacterial myself before eating or touching my face.
the difference. You gotta do what you gotta do for each situation.
Yeah, it's balance.
Yeah. It's the best feeling ever too. There's nothing better than your hands in dirt, particularly wet dirt. Like I just wanna, especially in the wintertime, it makes you remember how great it is, and I just wanna go stick my hands in plants and pots and just be like, let me be here. Let me be
Yeah,
with you.
I know. I have so
You have
many
plenty of
of them.
options. Can that hurt a plant? Now I'm getting way too into like plant curiosity. But if you are there certain plants that if you touch them or you touch their dirt near their roots that's gonna harm them?
Oh, so plants have a very complicated communication network, and they talk through a couple of different ways. So sometimes they'll send like scent signals to one another to signify that there's a predator coming, but they do talk through a mycelial structure in their roots, and they'll like share carbohydrates to one another. Um, so things that hurt plants, I'm not sure because I'm really not, a plant neurobiologist,
True.
but I'd avoid anything that you think might hurt anything.
Yeah. I try not to. That's something I did a little it was like a week long retreat one day. One day. One day I did a week long retreat. One week I did a week long retreat and it was a lot of just immersing yourselves in nature and being silent with nature. And we did a sweat lodge, and we actually had a Native American come in and bring the grandmothers and grandfathers. But when we were walking through the woods, he was like, for those few days, he was really explaining to us, that your mind, everywhere you step, you're kind of stepping on top of these living things, and to just be mindful and be thankful, and
Yeah.
just realize that you're doing that. I don't know, good memories.
There are there are cool. So some plants have this really fascinating feature in that in native cultures where they have typically been harvested and are no longer harvested by people, those particular species are not doing as well because we're not taking them within a certain age range. So I believe it's a black ash that was often used for basket making, but it was taken not as like a baby sapling and not as an adult tree. So now you can't find adult trees because most of them have died out and there's a lot of saplings, but they're not like getting through to this midpoint. And this is in large part because when many Americans have been like, well, we have to save the black ash tree, there was no harvesting of them at all allowed. And then they were overcrowded in these particular spaces. And so they weren't allowed to grow because that minimum amount of respectful harvesting was necessary for them. So having a relationship with plants is very important.
Yeah, they're definitely their own unique entities, and different types are. It's so funny, they mirror like just all types of beings, like they're just different types of plants, and they all want different things, and that's like I was serious when I'm like I gotta get to know my plant. I gotta know what he wants, and then I can have more, but I need to be responsible for one first.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
I'm just happy that so many of my plants are like making plant babies right now. So you'll have to have some of my plants.
Yes, more. All right, bring it. We'll bring it back to your personal mission at Masterminds. What do you want people to get out of an experience working with you, whether it be a class or just what is your personal mission when it comes?
I really want anyone in any of my classes or any Masterminds program because I help run them to just be really comfortable and to have fun.
Exactly. Simple, but it's just the truth. It's what I think. It's the bottom line of what we're all trying to get to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Just an environment that everyone can kind of come as they are. Oh, it's so great, Amanda. Did you want to talk about anything else or add anything else that I didn't get to touch on? Oh, where can people find you? How can people connect with you? Just skipped over that one.
Well, my name is Amanda Morin, and I'm probably going to be tagged in this. Ha ha! There we go. I'm also Amanda Furiosa on Instagram and most social media things. And if you can't find me anywhere else, it's because I'm not wanting to be found.
She's in stealth mode. Oh, that's awesome. And you can also find her at mastermindadventures.com. There'll be a cool little blurb with some information and how you can contact her to get through classes. Did we miss anything, Amanda? Is there anything else you want to talk about?
I don't think so. Thank you so much for having me here today. It was really fun catching up.
I know, it was nice, and you calmed down my energy so much. I love it. Even just like seriously, when you brought the knitting out, I was like, yes, I'm gonna soak in some zen.
I don't know if I could have been on video this long without knitting.
I don't know if I've ever seen what I miss most about Masterminds is the moms of the round table just knitting, but I don't know if I've seen you for long periods of time not knitting, and I like it.
Even my neighbors, they just know me as the person who walks and knits.
So good. It's so peaceful. You have no idea what you give to other people just by doing what you love. Well, thank you so much, Amanda. I had so much fun catching up, and I think you're just going to be such a great teacher, and the kids love you. We already know you're just amazing with kids and amazing with all that you do and have done for Masterminds. You're like an OG pillar. So we are all honored.
I'm so excited to be here.
I'm excited too, and it's just growing and expanding and more.
I know.
So lots of fun stuff. Awesome. All right,
Have a good
everybody.
night. Thanks,
Yeah.
everyone.
Thank you all. We have Amanda Morin, and you can catch up with us on Tuesdays and Thursdays to meet more of your game masters for hire, like Amanda. We're all epic, awesome, creative, open, happy. We're cool people. So come hang out with us and come play. So good night, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Bye.
Bye.